Has evolved so much in the last few years, and then it feels like especially in the last few months thanks to the COVID-19 pandemic. So now people, they aren't just meeting on apps, they're also doing virtual dates. And now that restrictions are easing back up, a lot of us will be taking those connections offline. So today we wanted to bring in licensed relationship therapist Alysha Jeney, a modern love counseling in Denver. Hi Alysha, good morning.
Hi, good morning. Thanks for having me.
Of course, this is really interesting to talk about because CNBC, they recently claimed that the pandemic could actually change dating forever. Like they're saying that there are some upsides like the cost, and there are some real downsides too, like not actually feeling the vibe. So what are your thoughts? How do you think things will change as we go from pandemic to kind of going back offline?
Well, I think that, obviously things have changed. And obviously, there's a big impact on everybody's life. And I think including, daters and singles. But I think that there's kind of two different types of daters. And on the one side, there's some singles that are just looking to have fun. And I don't think a lot has changed. They're still meeting up, they're still kind of just habitually talking to people. And I don't think a ton has changed except for the fact that they can't necessarily go out, but they're still being creative and finding ways to connect. And I think there's a whole other set of daters that are really looking for like their person and a genuine connection. And so I think that with that, those people in particular are struggling in some senses, but also kind of relieved that the pressure's off, that they get to maybe be a little bit more authentic, even though it's through a virtual screen or through text, where they can just kind of be more of themselves and kind of see, how things are in terms of an emotional connection first. And I think that that's actually kind of a good shift.
I think so too, and that's so interesting that you mentioned that because, yeah, you're kind of forced. It takes away the physical side of it. You literally can just connect online. Do you think some of the apps that have made, changes to add in that video, do you think that will stay? I mean, you've got FaceTime, so I don't know that they necessarily need to make it virtual from the apps as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's probably a little bit of trying to update their apps so that they can be appealing to certain people. And obviously there's money involved. But, I think that maybe it's probably going to stay. I don't see why it would leave. I think because it kind of has like a coded protection that, people, like I said, can feel a little bit more confident being themselves.
So we have the first date that's online, but then there's the first date in person. What do you have for recommendations for first dates as we're kind of in this uncertain time?
On one hand, awkwardness is going to probably be a piece to this regardless because we're human and it's kind of weird and it's new. Yeah. And I think that that's okay. So kind of understanding and having expectations of it being a little awkward is okay. But I try to help my clients, really reshift the mindset from being anxious and worried to actually being excited. And so I think that what a lot of people don't know is physiologically our bodies respond to anxiety and respond to excitement the same exact way. Oh. So before you're going into this like first date in person, if you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so nervous, your mind starts attacking that feeling and starts automatically putting a story to it that's negative, right? Like, I'm afraid that he's not going to like me. I'm afraid that she's not going to be interested. What if we don't have that same chemistry? And then that leads to energy that makes that first date awkward. So I think if you can acknowledge, I'm afraid about a few things, but then going into it, really change that mindset to what might I be excited about. Yeah. And I think that helps kind of, alleviate some of the pressure and just help you be a little bit more yourself.
Absolutely. Kind of changing that nervous energy into excited energy, because I think there are going to be a lot of people excited to meet up now that we finally can go outside safely. Alysha, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us this morning.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.